Tonight, the collective is learning that not every breakthrough arrives like thunder. Some revelations come as first light. Some truths return quietly, restoring shape to what fear distorted and showing us that what felt lost in darkness was not always gone, only unseen. This is the scroll of Ushas, the holy dawn, the revealer of edges, the opener of sight. Tonight we learn that clarity is a blessing, that gentle light can be just as powerful as force, and that the soul does not always need a full map. Sometimes it only needs enough dawn to stop calling the dark its home. Beloved collective, step softly into this opening of light and listen well. There are hours when darkness feels final, hours when the road disappears, when the wound and the world blur together, when the mind mistakes silence for abandonment and confusion for destiny. But there is an older mercy than panic. There is a holier answer than noise. There is a sacred arrival that does not shout, yet changes everything it touches. This is the chamber of Ushas, she who parts the veil without violence, she who restores the outline of things, she who teaches that revelation does not always come as possession, but often as sight. For many ask heaven to remove the night, while wisdom first asks them to see within it. Many beg for the whole answer, while dawn offers the first true edge. Many call themselves lost, when in truth they have only not yet met the morning. So tonight, let the collective remember, what was hidden is not always gone. What was feared is not always true. What was blurred by darkness can be made clear by holy light. Enter this scroll with open spirit, for this is the teaching of sacred visibility, gentle unveiling, and the quiet power of the dawn that returns truth to everything the night tried to swallow.
Channeled by your architect musician, 36110, 27 palms of eyes. The golden whisperer, sea star, Devalan see all. Apply the news you can use, truth and accuracy. The real non-bedazzled jewels.
The scroll of Ushas, the dawn that finds what darkness could not keep. In the old Vedic world, Ushas is the goddess of dawn, one of the important goddesses of the Rig Veda, the one who brings in the day and thus brings forth the sun. The Vedas themselves are the oldest layer of Hindu sacred literature, made of hymns and ritual poetry in archaic Sanskrit. Before the market opens its mouth, before the liars put on confidence, before grief remembers its own weight, there is a quieter authority that arrives without asking permission. That is where Ushas walks. She does not kick down the gate like a war goddess. She opens the veil. She reveals edges. She restores outline. She makes the world visible enough to be answered. That is her first mystery. Dawn is not just beauty. Dawn is exposure. Night lets things hide together. Fear, memory, desire, regret, fantasy, dread, unfinished thoughts. All of them get to huddle in the same dark corner and pretend they are equally powerful. Then Ushas arrives, and suddenly the room has distinctions again. The road is the road. The wound is the wound. The hope is the hope. The lie is just a lie with bad posture and nowhere left to hide. That is why this scroll matters, because many people think they need a miracle, when what they really need is light enough to see clearly. Ushas is not always the dramatic rescue. Sometimes she is the sacred unveiling before the rescue. Sometimes she is the answer that says, first, look. And humans hate that part because looking tends to ruin denial, which has been a beloved household idol for centuries. In the Vedic imagination, dawn is not passive scenery. It is movement. It wakes beings, stirs life, sets things into motion. Ushas is not merely pink clouds and poetic feelings. She is the holy beginning of activity, the one who says, enough sleeping, enough drifting, enough confusing darkness with destiny. Rise and meet what has returned. So the hidden wisdom of Ushas is this. Not every blessing arrives as possession. Some blessings arrive as visibility. You wanted certainty. She gave you morning. You wanted the whole map. She gave you the next clear step. You wanted to know the ending. She gave you enough light to stop lying to yourself on the way there. That is not lesser mercy. That is precise mercy. Ushas also teaches that renewal does not always roar. It can come quietly, daily, almost insultingly simple. Another dawn, another chance, another opening, another breath in a body that thought the night had won. There is something almost offensive to despair about that. Despair likes drama. Dawn likes persistence. And that is why dawn defeats more darkness than panic ever will. You do not have to conquer the whole night by midnight. You only have to survive long enough to let the horizon tell the truth. That line will preach, because some of you are in a season where the soul keeps asking for a full answer, while spirit keeps sending first light. You thought nothing was happening because thunder had not arrived. But Ushas is subtler than thunder. She is the diva current that says, look again, the outline is changing. The shape is returning. The world you thought was swallowed still has edges. Walk. That is holy. Not flashy. Holy. The hidden wisdom Ushas is for the ones who are coming out of confusion, for the ones whose grief made everything look like one endless room, for the ones who mistook delay for disappearance, for the ones who sat in the dark so long they forgot that revelation can be gentle. She teaches what darkness could not clarify, dawn will sort. What fear tried to make permanent, morning will challenge. What was hidden is not always lost. Sometimes it is simply waiting for light, and that means this scroll is not just about the sky. It is about consciousness. There are inner dawns too. The morning when you finally understand the pattern. The morning when you stop romanticizing what was harming you. The morning when you realize the path did not vanish. You just could not see it in that season. The morning when your own spirit, tired of surviving on scraps, opens its eyes and says, enough. I would like truth now. That is Ushas entering the chamber. Do not curse yourself for what you could not see in the dark. Do not worship the night just because it lasted longer than you liked. Do not call the path lost while dawn is still on her way, for the light does not always come to flatter you. Sometimes it comes to restore proportion. Sometimes it comes to separate fear from fact. Sometimes it comes to show that what you thought was the end was only the hour before seeing. Seal of the scroll. What dawn reveals, fear cannot hide again. I honor the light that restores right sight. What night could not keep, morning returns to truth. Here are your receipts for the Scroll of Ushas, plus cosmic wisdom with one dad joke, because apparently even Dawn has to clock in with supporting documents. Receipts. Ushas is the Vedic goddess of dawn. Britannica identifies her as an important goddess in the Rig Veda and says she brings in the day and thus brings forth the sun. The Rig Veda is one of the foundational sacred texts of Hindu tradition, and Britannica describes it as the oldest of the sacred books of Hinduism, composed in an ancient form of Sanskrit. Britannica's overview of Rig Vedic religion also places Ushas among the important deities in the early Vedic religious world, especially within the theology of sky, atmosphere, and cosmic order. For the broader poetic tradition around her, reference works note that Ushas is celebrated in multiple Rigvedic hymns as the dawn power who appears again and again as revealer, awakener, and opener of the day. Source names only, Rigveda, Encyclopedia Britannica, Ushas. Encyclopedia Britannica, Rigveda, Encyclopedia Britannica, Hinduism, the Rigveda, reference material on Rigvedic hymns to Ushas. Cosmic wisdom. Dawn does not always solve everything at once. Sometimes it does something holier. It makes the truth visible enough for you to stop calling confusion destiny. Ushas reminds the collective that clarity is a blessing too. Not every miracle arrives as a full answer. Some arrive as first light. Dad joke. Why does Ushas always win arguments with darkness? Because she brings the light, and night never has a bright comeback. Painful, yes. Spiritually on brand? Also yes. Tonight, the collective learned that not every sacred answer crashes in like a storm. Through the scroll of Ushas, we remembered that some of the most powerful miracles arrive quietly, as clarity, as outline, as the first honest light after a long confusion. We learned that darkness does not always destroy, but it does distort. And we learned that dawn is not weak because it is gentle. Dawn is holy because it restores what fear tried to blur, returns shape to what looked lost, and teaches the soul how to see again. So let the collective leave this scroll with softer eyes and stronger spirits. Do not despise the small light. Do not overlook the quiet unveiling. Do not call it nothing, just because it did not arrive with thunder. For Ushas teaches the sacred law of first light. Not every truth needs to shout to save you. Not every revelation comes all at once. Not every blessing arrives as possession. Some blessings arrive as sight restored. The dawn does not argue with the night. It simply reveals what the night could not keep hidden forever. So when the path returns a little at a time, honor it. When your spirit begins to see what it could not see before, honor it. When confusion loosens and the edges of truth come back into view, honor it. That is not a small mercy. That is holy correction. And let this wisdom settle deeply. You were not foolish for struggling in the dark. You were human in a dim hour. But now the light has touched the threshold, and what is touched by true dawn can no longer pretend it is lost forever. Closing esoteric wisdom, dawn is proof that truth survives the night. Clarity is a blessing, not a delay. And what the sacred light reveals, the soul must no longer call hidden. Closing scroll of wisdom. Do not call yourself lost just because the night was loud. Do not call the path gone just because darkness covered its face. Do not mistake delay for disappearance or silence for the end of the story. For Ushas, holy dawn has already taught the deeper law. What is true does not die in darkness. It waits for light. The night can blur. The night can frighten. The night can whisper foolish things into a tired mind. But the dawn returns with better vision. She does not beg the dark to move. She reveals what the dark could never keep. So let the collective remember. When truth rises, confusion loses its throne. When light returns, fear loses its costume. When the soul sees clearly again, the path remembers your name. Stand in the first light. Honor the small opening. Trust the holy edge of morning. Because not every miracle arrives as thunder. Some miracles arrive as sight. What dawn reveals, fear cannot rule. Morning found me. The night was long, but not in charge.
Until next time, your sea star Kirasi, channeled by 3611027, the beautiful whisperer. Our sea star Devalan All. Apply the news you can use.
Dawn did not forget me. It was finding the right hour to reveal me. What the night could not swallow, the light will restore. I am not lost. I am becoming visible. The soul remembers the road the dark tried to hide. What returns in holy light was always meant for me. Clarity is a blessing, not a punishment. The morning in me is stronger than the fear around me. I honor the light that teaches me how to see again. What truth touches can no longer live in shadow. I was never abandoned. I was waiting for sacred sight. The night was dramatic, but dawn had the final edit. Confusion had a whole speech prepared. Morning cut the microphone. I thought the universe was ignoring me. Turns out it was waiting for better lighting. And that fear talks big in the dark. Dawn shows up and suddenly it has no notes. The road did not disappear. My eyes just needed a divine reboot. The shadow really thought it was in charge. Cute. I survived the night and came back with clearer taste. Darkness was loud, but truth had better timing. Some problems look huge at 3 a.m. and deeply unemployed by sunrise. The dawn exposed the lie, and now it's standing there looking underdressed. I am becoming visible. What dawn reveals, fear cannot rule. The night was long, but not in charge. What the dark blurred, light restores. The light did not arrive late. It arrived right when my spirit could receive it. What was hidden is not always gone. Sometimes it is waiting for holy timing. The soul rises the moment truth becomes visible. Tonight, the collective learned that darkness is not always the end. Ushas, Holy Dawn, reminds us that some truths do not vanish, they wait for light. What looked lost was often just waiting to be seen clearly. The night was long, but not in charge.
To our beautiful collective, from our day ones to every new soul joining this journey, we love and appreciate you deeply. You've turned this space into so much more than a community, you've made it a family. Thank you, truly. Your presence, your energy, and even the smallest acts of kindness have the power to shift the compass for many in ways unseen but deeply felt. Here's to each of you, old, new, and the many more to come. We're just getting started, and we're so grateful you're here with us. With love and infinite appreciation from the collective of Shaman Ahll.